would have thought. Ooh. And again, this water is so clear right now, it's pretty scary for everybody involved, the fish included. They're like, you know, they can just see everything right now. They keep pulling the water down. They had the water way down, and then we got a bunch of rain that came back up, and then they have since managed to pull it way back down again. Duke power and all their infinite wisdom. Oh, well, it didn't take that long. That's a stud too. Alright. That would be a good one. Cool. That fish killed that thing. And still. Sweet. That's a good fish. Love to catch him like that. He smashed it. Sweet. Let's do that again. This is the wake version. The Thru Line swim bait from JAK's Custom Baits is, we've had it now for a couple of months. But the neat thing about it is that it gives us a lot of different options. And this particular version is, you know, calling it the wake version of that Thru Line swim bait, but basically it doesn't have any weight in it, so that it, when you fish it, it actually gets up there on the surface and will just wake pretty easy. I mean, you can actually wake the regular Thru Line swim bait, but it's a little bit harder to do. You got to fish a little bit faster. This one, you know, doesn't have any weight in it, so it actually stays up on the surface a little bit easier, and that's what I just caught that fish on it. But it's a pretty neat bait. You can see it there in the water, and it just, the tail gets to swimming. I mean, that bait gets to swimming, and it creates a pretty good vibration, and the fish, they don't seem to mind it too much. It's a pretty cool deal. Yet again, another just awesome little bait that, you know, Jeff has come up with. Constantly, you know, we're just constantly working on new stuff, trying to come up with new baits and new ways to catch fish. And between Jeff and myself and some of the other guys that Jeff works with, we're always thinking. But that one was pretty cool. He smashed it up, threw it up there, and I mean, it hit the water, and that tail started wiggling, and he smashed it. Come on, fish. Want another one now. It's a funny thing, I just caught a 3-pounder, and here I am. Come on, fish, let's get another one. Yeah, I think it's just so much fun. You want to catch them every cast. It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But the neat thing is that fish had this bait, you know, he had the hooks all the way down in his mouth. They eat this thing so aggressively. And even as big a bait, I mean, you look at it's a 5-inch bait, and it's got a lot of mass to it. The body's pretty big. But they just absolutely attack it. And I've been experimenting with different hook configuration. Typically on that Thru Line swim bait, you put one single treble hook, you know, on the belly of it. but I was just having some issues with fish getting hooked, you know, in the tongue or in the gills, and so I was trying to alleviate that to some degree. And so I set up this deal here where I've got these 2 treble hooks on a split ring and kind of put them to the side, trying to get the hooks away from where they wouldn't catch the fish in the tongue as much. And it's helped some. I mean, I've still, you know, like that fish had it in the, you know, he had it in his tongue, but it was way back deep, but he wasn't bleeding. That was a good thing. But yeah, we'll see. That bait looks so good coming through the water when that thing gets to, that tail gets to throbbing around, flopping back and forth. Ooh, bad cast. A little too far out. Here he comes. Oh, God, dang it. I jerked it away from him. That was, I couldn't help it. You see him coming out from the bank. Dang it. Ugh. Missed opportunity, but that was cool. That was cool to see him. You could see him come shooting out off the bank, coming after the bait. I mean, they're kind of expensive. I mean, not when you compare to what, heck, some of the California companies are getting, you know, for these baits like this. They're charging, you know, anywhere from 15 to 25 or 30 bucks for a 5-inch Thru Line swim bait. And Jeff's are like 8 or 9, which is, yeah, still kind of pricey for a bait. But heck, I've had it. You know, I've probably caught 30 fish on the thing, and you know, those spotted bass, which are notorious for tearing a bait up, caught a bunch of them on it, and you know, it's still kicking. So you know, it's, yeah, that's always one of those things that you worry about when you spend a bunch of money on a bait, is, you know, you're going to get your money out of it. Ooh. Oh, come on. Dang it. Man, I'm getting all jerky and jerking it away from him. We'll see. Still kicking for now. I don't know what they are. They must be little bitty fish, but they're coming up there trying to throttle that thing. I mean, that was clearly a little bitty fish. Well, that's pretty cool. I've had a number of bites on this thing. I'm not hooking up with all of them, but that's mostly because I'm being dumb and jerking it away from them. But see if I can't calm down a little bit and quit trying to jerk it away from them. It's just hard sometimes. You get excited, you see, when you can see the fish coming, like that one, that last one that came off the rocks, could literally see the wake from the fish coming off the bank when he was coming up there to get it. And that, yeah, I don't care how long I've been doing this, it still gets kind of exciting. Ooh, dun 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 dun. Here he comes, dun 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 dun. See him come up behind it? God, turned away. There's one home. He should bite it right there. But unless he's a sissy, in which case he won't bite it. But that's the cast that you would expect to get spit on. Come here, come here. That's... Oh, cool. Another one on the swim bait. I pulled up and flipped threw that thing up under that dock. Still getting the camera set up. And got that one. Not a bad fish. Cool. That always, I mean, I knew as soon as I let that go, I was like, should have waited till the camera's set up before I do this. That was pretty cool though. Fired it up under that dock. He throttled it. He wasn't bashful about it. He got it. Which is what we like. We like it when they get it. We get it, they get it, as long as somebody's getting it. That's all that matters, as long as somebody's getting it. Yeah, I definitely think that this version of this wake bait is going to be a pretty neat deal because you can just do a lot of different things with it. Yeah, it's just a neat way to fish it. And as we that's always a neat thing to watch that bait come out from underneath the dock like that, and you just expect to see one come up. Looks like, you know, look like those great white sharks you see on the National Geographic documentaries. That would be pretty cool. I could deal with that.
Who isn't tired of tangled fishing rods, bent or broken rod guides? Then you need the Rod Jimmy. The Rod Jimmy makes it easy to protect your valuable fishing rods with easy on and off protection. Made of durable materials for a lifetime of use, the Rod Jimmy will more than pay for itself with one season. Say goodbye to tangled rods and lines. Store and carry more rods securely and easily with the Rod Jimmy. Order yours today at therodjimmy.com. That's therodjimmy.com.
For the best selection of firearms, visit Sportsman Inc. Try out our 2 pistol ranges. We buy, sell, and trade guns. Sportsman Inc. is a full-time gunsmith on site, and we offer concealment classes. You'll find everything you need for hunting and fishing at Sportsman Inc., Hands Mill Highway in Rock Hill.
It's funny how you get just, you know, catching that one fish and it kind of gets you thinking, well, maybe they're on this kind of stuff, but yeah, maybe skipping this bait in around the poles on these docks is the way to catch them, but you never really know until you try it. But we shall see. I'm getting ready to throw it under there, and I don't think it's going to make it out. Oh man, kind of messes with you sometimes because you start thinking, okay, well, and trying to reproduce that bite. I'm thinking, okay, well, I need to find more main lake docks with poles. And is it because, you know, is it shade? Is it deep water? And then there's just, you know, always the variable that that dock is just a really good dock that has held fish and caught fish off of for years. So that part of the equation is always in your head and messes with you. Man, he tried to get it. He didn't, but he tried. Oh. Try that again. The only problem is a lot of times when they do that, they get kind of riled up or spooked, and getting them to come back is a tough thing sometimes. But he tried. Hey, that has been a reoccurring thing this morning, getting bit and not hooking up. That's not good. I have to look at some different options for baits. And sometimes that's what happens is, these fish, they're willing to react to a bait that you get around them, but they really don't want it. There's something about the bait that they don't like, they don't want, and so they won't eat it. They'll come up and they'll react to it, they'll bump it, they'll push it, but they're not eating it. And so that just tells me that, I gotta look at some alternative, although kind of tough because, I have had a couple, when you're getting a lot of activity on a bait like this, it's hard just to walk away from it or, put it down. But if they're not eating it, it's a good one right there. About a 3-pounder. He swam up there. He was a little late though. That one wasn't. Oh, look at that fish. That's a pretty one. Not a 3-pounder, but it's pretty. Fat, healthy. I'll take him. Sweet. Sweet. I need to call Jeff and make sure he's supposed to be bringing me some more of these things. And make sure he's... Oh, definitely make sure that he's bringing me some more of these things. Cut it out, cut it out, cut it out. I'll let you go if you'll quit it. Thank you. Another. Sweet. So, main lake, shallow, deep water close by, it's sand on the bottom. In the shade, it's got stumps. Just trying to, mentally try to dissect what I got going on here, and so I can try to reproduce it. I need to catch, because I saw that one, then I caught one, and then I caught that one, so just all in one little stretch of bank. The hard part is that this stretch of bank will be so waked out Saturday morning in that tournament. Yeah, which sometimes that helps you. There's a little bass right there following it. Sometimes the wake action, the wave action will help you. It'll stir up the water a little bit so the fish can't see as well, and they'll actually feed a little bit better sometimes, but it makes it really hard to fish when your boat's rocking and rolling the whole dang time. I mean, this is definitely a bait and a technique that can catch a big fish. I mean, I've caught some big fish on this bait in the past, and I think that certainly it'll catch a big one. So I feel pretty good about it from that perspective. Kind of feeling pretty good about that little swim bait deal. That could be a pretty sweet little deal once once kind of the boat traffic died down on the main lake, which it won't. Initially, with everybody blasting off, the boat traffic will be pretty insane out here for a while, but then once that settles down, yeah, it could be a pretty good little deal. Ooh, I just had one take a shot at it right there. You can get it. See, it'd be nice if we could get on a little deal like this. If I could get this pattern to work, it'd be nice, because I think that not a lot of other people will be doing this. So I think that But I think it's just a matter of just covering a bunch of water. Trying to get your bait in front of as many fish as possible and cover a bunch of water. See how critical the shade is here in just a minute. Because both those fish that I caught, that other one came on those shaded stretches. See how big a deal that makes. I'm sure that the shade has some part to play in it, because giving the fish an ambush point. It's hard to know just how big the deal it is. Come on, fish, we need a couple more. We need a couple more to say this is what we need to be doing. Get a couple more good bites and I will feel real good about this as an option for covering a bunch of water. And I mean, I feel like I could catch a big fish doing this time of year. Little bass came up there behind it. This time of year, a lot of these fish will get up there and roam the banks. The water temperature's 66, 67 degrees right now. So it's comfortable for them. There's really no reason why they can't or won't, other than just really light levels. But they'll get up and roam around on these banks a lot this time of year. And if I can get a couple good bites, it'd go a long way. I mean, historically it'll take 17, 18 pounds to win, so you need right at or a little over a 3-pound average. So just a few more bites. But usually you don't catch all 3-pounders. You catch some 2.5 pound fish, and then you throw in a good one to go with them. 5 or a 6-pounder to bump you up, bump your total weight up to get you to that. See, there's bluegill running across this flat. So that's kind of the good thing, is that I'm seeing a lot of the bluegill and the bait fish and all that stuff up here on these places, and that's what making me think that this could be a viable pattern. That and the fact that let me see, caught that first one, went into that next cut, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've had like 8 or 9 bites so far this morning, and it's 10:45, so we've been filming now for about 3.5, 4 hours. I've had 8 or 9 bites, and I managed to get 3 or 4 of them in the boat. Which that's the kind of the weird thing about this big bait, is that you don't hook every one of them. I mean, certainly I think that making the modification with these 2 hooks has certainly increased my hookup ratio with it, but you just, unfortunately, you don't catch every fish that bites it. They definitely act like they're willing to take a shot at this thing, just not hooking up with all of them. Some of that may be color. I've got, he can make this thing in any color you want. Right now I've just got these pearl white ones, but I've got some other ones en route. But really, I mean, the neat thing about this bait is that you can fish it over a lot of different situations. I mean, down the bank, over, around grass, as long as the grass is just under the surface. I mean, this thing, you can keep it right on the surface. There'd be no reason why you couldn't get away with fishing it over some submerged vegetation. And I really think it would be just an awesome bait in that situation. In fact, I look forward to getting to use it for that at some point. But in and around these docks like that, I mean, that's when the shad are spawning. I think this thing is going to be devastating to a fish. I think it'll really catch them. A little bass, about 8 inches long behind it. See, and that's probably what some of those bites, some of those bites where I had, fish come up and bump it or take a look at it were, just little fish that, they see it and it looks good to them and they come up and take a shot at it or mess with it, but they're just not really big enough to actually eat the thing. But this is a really neat bait, and it's fun to fish. Fishing with Rusty is made possible by these great sponsors.
Isn't tired of tangled fishing rods, bent or broken rod guides? Then you need the Rod Jimmy. The Rod Jimmy makes it easy to protect your valuable fishing rods with easy on and off protection. Made of durable materials for a lifetime of use, the Rod Jimmy will more than pay for itself with one season. Say goodbye to tangled rods and lines. Store and carry more rods securely and easily with the Rod Jimmy. Order yours today at therodjimmy.com. That's therodjimmy.com.